be going right underneath it. In 1921, a local dentist by the name of Dr. Thomas bought the cave, and he's the guy that got it opened up to the public. So we do have a couple of rules. We ask that you guys stay on the pathway at all times. There's 144 steps in the cave. Most of these steps are going to be damp or wet, so take your time. Also, after we get inside, we ask that you guys not touch the formations. When the oils in your skin get on these formations, it stops them from growing. There's going to be a couple of areas that we're going to have to touch as we're walking through, and I'll point those out to you guys as we're going through the cave. Does anyone have any questions?
I'm the door shutter.
Okay.
No, you're not.
Or
People behind
you're the door. Can you shut the door? Oh, last person has to shut the door. Last person has to shut the door. You're right, Dad.
Meadow, you want to go in front of me so it's like... Or no, Meadow, you want to go right behind me? Please. Thank you. Don't touch anything, Meadow.
This afternoon is actually right over your head. So that's the big hole in the ground, or the natural entrance that I was just talking about. And guys, that used to be the only way in and out of the cave. It's a nice 29-foot drop from the top to the bottom. And when Dr. Thomas opened the cave up, they used the big ladder to get in and out with. In 1924, they made the entrance that we just came through, and we've used that entrance ever since. And in 1992, they made us a nice exit to the cave. So we're all going to be going out a different way than we came in. Any of you guys want to take a guess at what this is? No. He said no. Moonshine, exactly.
All right.
So yes, no free samples, guys. We would never get out of here.
Free samples?
But yes, this is a steal. You're probably wondering, why is it in the cave, right? Actually, it's a good hiding spot for one reason. Another good reason, there's a good source of water in here that was used to make the shine with. This was owned by Bill Skaggs. He was a well-known moonshiner in this area in the early 1900s, and yes, he made a lot of moonshine. Of course, stalactites, they only grow on the ceiling. Inside this cave, our stalactites average about 1 inch growth every 100 years or so. So they grow a whole lot faster than the cave coral. On the floor of the cave, you're going to see what's called a stalagmite, and this is a good example of one of those. Eventually, these two formations will keep growing until they grow together and become one formation. That's called a column. In just a few minutes, we're all going to be going around the largest formation in the cave. It's called Mammoth Onyx Column. By the way, guys, you are allowed to take all the pictures you want while you're in here. From this point forward, hey, us just came around it, and that's this big guy back here. So that's Mammoth Onyx Column. The cave is named after that formation. So it used to be a stalactite and a stalagmite, and they grew together and eventually formed a column. Mammoth Column is roughly 47 feet tall, and it's right at 300,000 years old. It's not going to get any taller, but it will get a whole lot bigger. Eventually, it's going to fill in this entire area. Right where you guys are standing, you're 129 feet below the surface. We're not going to go any deeper, but the cave does go deeper. And that area begins right here. Now guys, this part of the cave has been closed off to the public because of safety reasons. However, it does drop down another good 65 feet or so below us. Then it shoots back behind me another good 1/8 of a mile. Beyond that point, guys, it's all full of water. So it is very dangerous beyond that point. And if any of you guys are wondering about these steps or the pathway, when Dr. Thomas bought the cave, he hired a group of guys, and their job was to make a pathway through here. You have to remember, this was over 100 years ago. Back then, they didn't have the kind of tools that we have now. So when those poor guys got all the mud and dirt out of here, they carved over half of these steps out by hand. And it took them 3 years to complete, by the way. And if any of you guys are wondering about the steps on this side, back in the old days, before we had an exit to the cave, that's the way everybody used to go back outside. Does anyone have any questions so far? Alrighty guys, if you want to see what cave bacon looks like, right here on the wall, that's a good example of it. You can see why they call it that. It does kind of look like a piece of bacon. These formations get real thin. Some of them get as thin as a piece of paper, and they're breakable like a piece of glass. So that's a good example of cave bacon, by the way. Alrighty, if I can get in front of you guys. If you want to try this water, when you get up here where I'm at the bottom of this stalactite, there's water dripping off of it. You can get a taste that way. Or there's a puddle of water down here. You can dip your hand in it and get a drink that way. When you get outside, if you turn right, it'll take you right back to the gift shop where we just started. If you go left, you'll go through a nature trail and come out at the back of the park where all the animals and the cafes at. Have y'all had fun? Yeah.
Okay, the Laughing Kookaburra. There's the albino wallaby. It was explained to us that he's partially blind because he is albino. There's a bunch of kangaroos. Down there are some emus. See if they want any food. Hey there. You want anything? No. Are you hungry? No. They don't seem very interested. They're probably well fed, I'm guessing. I'm just going to put the food down by one of them. Oh, that one's going to eat it. Put it down there. They told us do not pet them on the heads because that's known to trigger aggression in wild kangaroos. Huh. Here's the emu. Other one's right over there.
Oh wow, yeah, I was not thinking that. That looks like they're laying an egg.
And there's Mr. Kangaroo hanging out with his best buddy Piggo. Can I pet you? Hey, I'm gonna pet you. Alright? Just gonna pet the kangaroo.